This is a recording and visual presentation given by Donovan Gordon, the Director of Clean Heating and Cooling at NYSERDA. It was day 2 of the NY-GEO 2018 conference in Albany, New York, presented on April 19th, 2018. Have a listen.
So I want to bring Donovan up. So Donovan, come up. Come on. So Donovan Gordon is the Director of Clean Heating and Cooling, which has changed names any number of times. I think it was renewable heating and cooling, renewable thermal, renewable heating and cooling, and now clean heating and cooling. So who knows who he will be next year. But he does have a lot to say about what's happened over the last year, and we're glad to have him. And I want to introduce Donovan Gordon.
John and NY-GEO board. Where's Bill Nowak? I don't see him. I want to congratulate Bill for extremely successful conference. I've been here for all of them, and I do remember Skidmore, the first one, scrambling to see if we get, I think, 50, 60 people or something like that, having breakout sessions in classrooms, and we've come a long way. So congratulations. Also, the last 5 days or so, I know John Shabako has been calling me or emailing me, not calling me, sometimes he calls me. We need your presentation so we can load it into the computer for the conference. So it's been going through different iterations, and I finally sent it to him. And then I was wondering why he was doing that, but last night in Bill Nowak's presentation, half of what I was going to say is there. So I'm driving home. I said, well, not much new I'm going to be able to say, all the programs. So what I will do is take you through the programs, but what stage we're at within those initiatives right now, to give you a little better sense of timing so you can be prepared for it. Because we've thrown a lot of things at you in the last 6 months or so, and there's more to come. So before I get started, though, again, thanks for the introduction and saying I lead this team, but it is a team. So I'd like to ask the NYSERDA's Clean Heating and Cooling team to stand, please, so we can. So these are the folks that are going to get the work done for us here. I am going to start off with Matt McQuinn. Matt McQuinn is the original renewable heating and cooling team member. He's there from the very beginning. Then we have Scott Smith, Andre Davis, Wendy McPherson. We got Terry Hogan, who's our air source guy, so that's why he's sort of off to the side there. But I'll come back to that. We have Sudardi, we have Brianna Parkman, who are recently, within less than a couple weeks with the group. So welcome, and these are folks that will get it done for us. I don't know if Eric Scherer is in the room, but Eric Scherer, from Senior Advisor in Environmental Analysis. I think he's screwed up. Environmental Analysis, and anytime I get numbers, anytime I get any kind of policy issues, I just press the forward button. Stuff. So I'll take. Do I have a pointer, or you guys? You do. Did I said Scott? Did I mention Scott? I think that's okay. I never forget Scott.
Hey, we don't forget John Shabako.
So actually, the person I'm going to pick on today, I don't see it. Is John Manning in the room?
You're downstairs. Pick on, so he didn't come up.
All right.
Couldn't make it up the steps.
Oh, yeah, okay. So we're going to start off with the traditional slide from NYSERDA, which is what we basically are living and breathing for the next 30 or so years, which is the REV, and these are the goals. You all know it, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but as you know, the 40% includes buildings in terms of greenhouse gas emissions reductions, and certainly the last one in terms of energy efficiency increases that will definitely come to buildings, and heat pumps play a role in that. We also know this. I do want to start off again because these are the things that we're trying to address, the barriers for adopting ground source heat pumps. as we know, high first cost. But along with the high first cost, I mean, they are replacing something. It's just that it's insufficient return for the additional investment over the regular heating and cooling system. So we have to deal with that. And as you know, Dandelion, Roundup, and others, ZBF, are looking at ways to address that with standardized pricing. Limited training available. Again, we're certainly looking to address that. And lack of knowledge and awareness and affordable financing. Again, we all sort of know these barriers and talk about how we're planning to address them. So this has been a journey. We didn't just pop up with all these things, these programs just sort of materialized. It evolved. It started early to mid 2016 when we convened our advisory group down in New York City. A bunch of you in the room were probably there. And it started the process of developing our policy framework, which was published on February 7th, 2017. So last year, this time, when the conference was held in April, this is all we had. We had a policy framework with ideas and concepts of how we want to address and grow this market. But I do want to point out, I don't know if this has a point, so I can't point it.
Have a point.
It does have a point. That's okay.
The red line.
The red one? Okay.
Yep.
Well, I do. You can tell I love you guys. This constitutes the first step, guys. This is the first. I keep hearing what's happening. This is just the first, okay? There's more to come, and as we evolve and develop. And we're setting out policy options for market-based strategies. So I keep hearing incentives. You heard John Rose last night. Incentives are like training wheels. So this is not Santa Claus or money grab. And the pillars of the policy framework were A, finding ways to reduce costs and barriers, which I just talked about, what the barriers are. Mandates. We haven't gotten to that point yet, but I know a bunch of you asking me about that stuff. We're not quite there yet. And incentives, which we've addressed. So that was February 7th. Once we developed the policy framework, had the ideas, then we worked pretty hard to develop an investment plan, which had to be approved, developed internally, approved internally, then presented to DPS, and they had to take time, 30 days or so, and give me a nudge when I get 5 minutes, so I have to speed up. Okay, so it was approved on May 8th. So, folks, from February 7th to have this thing published, we put an investment plan together and got it approved on May 8th. Now, what I would encourage everyone to do, because again, I keep asking, could you fund this? Could you support this? Could you support that? I would encourage you to please read the policy framework. It's on our website, and I would actually send it to NY-GEO so they can put it on their website. But even more importantly, the investment plan. Because the investment plan lays out what DPS is approved being able to spend in the programs that we said we're going to spend money on. Anything outside of that, it's a waste of conversation. I don't have the approval or authority to do that until we put another investment plan to address other issues. So if you have ideas, concepts, or things I should look at, take a look at the investment plan and see how we can work within those parameters. We can have that conversation. Anything outside of that, again, we're sort of wasting our time. So since then, we had the investment plan approved May 8th. In June, we launched a rebate program, so we weren't wasting any time. I got to tell you, it's been late nights and weekends, and this team here put a lot of work into this. We started with the ground source heat pump program. You know what it is, the $15 million, $1,500 a ton, $1,200 a ton over. Then we launched the air source heat pump program. That's why I invited Terry, not just for that. This is really important because the NY-GEO board has known, and I've said this, I've publicly said this, we should evolve to being a heat pump organization, but we'll save that for another day.
They're like that just because that's alphabetical order, or you know.
I know. Sorry. I think
the ground is under the air.
Okay. All right. Whatever works. Then in December we put out a solicitation for a clean heating and cooling communities program. We allocated about $8 million. We hope to do maybe 4 or 5 rounds. This was the first round. We allocated $1.3 million for that. I think we're going to want to spend more than that in this first round because we were anticipating approving about 5 communities. We wound up funding 8 communities, which covers 12 counties, about 1.2 million homes in the state, and of those 1.2 million homes, about 38% of them use oil, propane, or electric resistance for heating. So we're off to a really great start with the applications or submissions for this. I can't say the communities in the room know who they are. We're going through the contracting phase, and until NYSERDA signs the contract, we can't make a formal announcement about it, but we're really pleased. But I also will say, for those communities that did not sign up or was not funded in this particular round, we hope to come out with our second round sometime this summer, probably around July. And we certainly hope to start launching these programs. We hope to get through the contracting phase by June and start launching some of these programs by late summer or fall. So we'd like to get it before the heating season. This I consider I call it my signature program. Everything's that we get around this. We talked about the NYPA program before that we're doing with NYPA, the Geothermal Clean Energy Challenge. So right now, the deadline for applications is April 30th. So we still have a couple days, I guess, a few days to go. So far, so I can't talk about the submissions yet, but we've got some good ones. But I will go back to these programs here. So far, we launched this one July of last year, August of last year, and guys, we've issued a couple thousand rebates already. Yes, so we're doing well and we're doing okay. But I would say with ground source, we've got some really large ones. That's why I was asking for John Manning to pick on them. One of the largest submissions so far is from John Manning, 700 tons. We got 700 ton, we got a 400 ton. I don't know what the one for Fordham, Andre, how big that is, but they're all colleges. We've got some really good ones. So more to come on the clean energy. It's focused on state buildings and state and local government. This is also another one, co-op marketing, co-op advertising and promotions for HVAC partners. We're cost sharing up to 50/50 cost share up to $50,000. With contractors and installers, we'll co-op marketing, any kind of anything that we deem appropriate for advertising. And with manufacturers and distributors, we will cost share 50/50 up to $50,000 for workforce training. So, and then the next gen HVAC, this is something that's not really talked about a whole lot, but this is really to bring the next generation of HVAC systems, and we just sort of an R&D project with Joe Barrick. I think Mike is probably in the room. Is a $15 million budget over, I think, 4 rounds. The first round was about $5 million. And I bring this up in this arena because the focus was on, we allocated up to $1 million per application. I think we did about, I forget that number, but the folks are reducing the cost and increasing the speed of geothermal heat exchange installations. We had some really good submissions. Again, they know who they are. We've notified the entities of the funding, but we're going through the contracting phase, and once we get through that, we'll make that formal announcement. Financing solutions, which is extremely important, and I'll skip to that and just get to the last point. You know about federal tax credit and all that, but Green Jobs for New York. We sort of touched on this a little bit. I know Wendy talked about it in a session yesterday. This industry in New York State is extremely huge. You guys familiar with Green Jobs for New York? It's a loan program issued to the state. It could be on-bill financing or direct billing, I guess if you want to call that. But it was managed, and you had to go through our home performance with Energy Star program. Now, geothermal installers that are eligible contract installers in the NYSERDA's ground source heat pump program are now eligible to offer this loan program. You do not have to go through Green Jobs. You do not have to go through home performance with Energy Star to be able to offer this loan. This is a big gift. So you now have the opportunity, but based on the incentives the tax credits, your standardized pricing, you now have a loan product. And we're also helping with marketing, promotion, and workforce trading. This is really comprehensive programs that we put out. You need to take a little time to digest this, and I look forward to working more with you on that. I'm going to start segueing into the next panel. These are some of the business models that we're really looking for. I know we're talking about installation and speed, but we need third-party ownership. We need thermal storage. That's a big thing. Not too many people talk about that. You guys do the installation, start at workforce training, finally, and controls, really, really important. And we have the utility panels coming. But every utility, all the big ones are here, and you certainly can ask questions. The good thing is, I can't ask me any questions in this forum right now. But these are the opportunities with utilities. We had Rev Connect a couple of weeks ago. Some of you were there, and we really, and you will see they want to engage with you now.
We hope you enjoyed this presentation from the NY-GEO 2018 conference. We would like to thank our sponsors, exhibitors, speakers, and attendees for making this such a great event. For more information on this conference, including speaker bios, presentation slides, great photographs, and more session recordings, go to our website at nygeo.org. That's ny-geo.org. Thanks.